Mitt Romney is either the embodiment of American free enterprise or the essence of malevolent Wall Street that's left a trail of unemployment and misery behind him. And it all depends on your view of his years as the head of Bain Capital, a subject that even his GOP rivals are using against him today.
Mitt Romney, Wall Street. He made millions buying companies and laying off workers.
Of course, Romney's allies will point to Bain's successful investments in businesses like Staples or Domino's Pizza, and in that, guilty pleasures like Dunkin' Donuts. And we should note that NBC Universal and Bain Capital, along with the Blackstone Group, are co-owners of the Weather Channel. However, our next guest says there is very real human cost associated with how Bain Capital operates, one he felt firsthand. Joining us now, Randy Johnson. Good afternoon, sir.
Glad to be here.
Let's go back about 2 decades. Bain buys American Pad and Paper Company in 1992. That company purchased your factory in Marion, Indiana, 2 years later. So what happened next?
What they did, they purchased the plant in an asset sale. They turned around and fired everybody, literally brought in guards and walked us out of the building. They said, if you want to work for us, you got to fill out an application. They did hire about 200 out of 258 people back. When they did, it was at reduced wages and benefits, no longer had a pension plan. We paid more for our health care. That was pretty devastating for the families at that time.
But many people looking at that kind of an investment in that kind of a company would say that's fairly average and normal for many businesses. That's what happens. Companies take over businesses that may be in some jeopardy. They do invest, they reduce the overheads, and the company has some chance of survival. Some win, some don't win.
And I would agree with that, but I don't believe that was the actual case here, because if you look at the facts, in 1992 when they bought AMPAD, it was distressed. When they bought my plant, they bought it from Smith Corona, the typewriter company. We were the only thing making money for Smith Corona in 1994. We were actually a value. We had some good core value for the company. Smith Corona needed cash, so they sold us to AMPAD.
So are you suggesting then that Mr. Romney's whole business strategy was basically getting hold of businesses, using them to raise equity, and then basically allowing them to fold? Is that what you're arguing?
Oh, yes. I mean, if you look even beyond my plant, in 96
If that's what you're arguing, sir, how do you explain Staples? How do you explain the pizza company? How do you explain the investment in the child center, care centers?
Let's take a look at what kind of jobs were created at Staples, at Domino's. I don't want to put jobs down, but these were low-wage, part-time, no-benefit jobs for the most part, unless you were in management of these stores. We had industrial-type jobs, plant jobs that paid decent, that you could raise a family on. So there's a big difference right there on what type of jobs. They also, with Bain Capital, investing in AMPAD, made over $100 million before they let them go bankrupt in 2000. In 8 short years, they made that kind of money, and it wasn't streamlining. It was about getting the most equity, and they also borrowed heavily. So they left institutions out there to hold the bag.
Randy Johnson, thank you for joining us this afternoon.